Wine Wednesday, everyone. Look, I didn't even have a chance to fill my cup. Sorry we're running late. It's me, as always. I know that's the joke about Wine Wednesday, but we're here now. I am personally sipping on some Chardonnay. Really excited that the holiday season is upon us, and tonight is Friendsgiving. We're going to explain that a little bit more in just a second, but I do have with me Vincent, Ray, Cheryl, Holly, and Holly's mother is even joining us tonight. And if you don't forget, just a reminder, if you're on Instagram, it might look a little funny. The aspect ratio is different. You can always listen on Instagram, but if you want to watch the video and interact with us in chat, jump on over to YouTube, search Seahorse Whisperer, and we're the first thing you'll see. And I'm
And don't
open
forget
for chat.
Vincent.
I said Vincent. Well, he was the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So tonight, what we wanted to do is, the goal of Wine Wednesday, as I'm pouring my wine here, is to share Seahorse information, come together with others in the Seahorse community, help people with questions, help people who are new who have questions, or people with problems with questions, share the latest documentation and research, share our experiences, and just be a community. And it's really been a wonderful thing. Uh-oh, I feel like I'm echoing again. Okay, so I'm just and it's not all Seahorse people. I see Chimp the Reefer out there. Hey Chimp, our salty friends too, and we talk macros and saltwater just randomly. We do have topics and guests, but mainly we're just here for each other. That's the point. So the day before Thanksgiving, if you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. But our Friendsgiving is focused on sharing our stories that maybe have about someone helping us within the community. I have a pile of stuff, and Holly has a pile of stuff that we're going to share, that like Seahorse related items. So, and I did do a post, so if you haven't had a chance to post a picture of a Seahorse related item or share a story after tonight, please go do it anyways, because I'll share it next week. So
Yeah, I put it on Humble Fish too.
Yep. Oh yeah, we need to post it on Humble Fish.
It's on. I did it.
Oh, thank you. I still need to fix that over on Humble Fish. You got to get on me, Vincent. I'm lacquer. But anyhow, so I'm gonna quit yapping for a second and just kind of like first ask you guys how you're doing. Cheryl, how are you? Anything new with you?
I'm doing well. Fortunately, I had my medical appointment canceled today, so I'm able to be here. And
Good.
I'm just, it's set up for next week. It's not a big deal. But I'm just feel very fortunate to be able to interact with all the people, not only in this group, but internationally too, because it's not just the United States. And I've been working with Martin Fletcher uh, on a problem that we've since corrected. But it's one of those things where we all work together, we all care about each other, and happy Thanksgiving for all my friends.
Yep. You celebrate. Absolutely. Ray, let's jump to you. How you doing? Anything new? What's your weekly
everything's
plan?
exactly the same right now.
Well, that could be good. I told you I started a part-time job. I have all these regulars now who come in and they tell me, I always say, how you doing today? And they're always like, I'm above ground. It's good. No change is good change. So, we're happy for that. Seahorse still okay?
Yeah, he's still doing fine.
Good. Okay. Well, anything else you wanted to share real quick?
I saw that post about those floating seahorses. Did you see that one?
I did not. What's it about?
No, I
I
didn't
got
see
some
it.
on Amazon, I think, for about $9.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
So I figured, what the hell, I'll give it a try. So I ordered them from Amazon Canada, but they're double the price here in Canada. But
Wow.
they'll be here tomorrow, so I'm gonna put them in and see if that interests him at all, to make him less lonely.
And there were what? What were they?
They're floating seahorse ornaments.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a post of somebody's seahorses floating.
I did too at first. I saw that too, and it's funny because I have that in my wish list for the last couple years, because I thought that would be kind of fun to add in and see if they want to hitch with them or anything. But somebody posted she had a seahorse in the hospital, and her female seahorse was lonely, so she got those, and the seahorse is trying to make friends with it and
That's so
acting
cool.
like it's another seahorse.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Kevin. We see you. We're so glad to have you here. But no, Ray, well, then we need an update next week. Don't let me forget. I want to hear how he does with them, if he likes
If
them.
it works out, they're probably gonna get out of stock because everybody will be buying them, stick in hospital tanks.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, I'll get some just for if anything goes wrong. Shoot. I mean,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool if it works. Let us know. All right, Vincent, how are you? Anything new? Anything going on with you?
No, just I've had my granddaughter for 3 days, and she's out of school. We went to the pet store today, picked up some food and anemone crabs, and because my clowns don't like the anemones, so I got the crabs to take the place. But yeah, not a whole lot going on.
I hear you. Now with the clowns with the anemones, I bought a rose tip anemone, and the thing would just, I mean, I say run from the clown, but they don't, but they do move. They didn't
Yeah.
really run though. But finally, after about a year, the clowns, I had two, settled in. Are yours just don't get along? I mean, they just don't like it. They don't go near it.
Yeah, they just don't care about it.
Mm, well,
And,
probably get frisky with each other instead, right?
rose tips aren't
Excuse me.
probably the ideal for a lot of clowns.
Right. I was lucky. They were oscillarius, and I just got lucky. This rose tip was just really healthy, and I don't know. It took a long time for them to get together, but I know there's more to it. And Kevin and Tyann from TikTok with Tyann could probably tell us more about that stuff. But
Oh. I had a good week though.
Good.
On now I got to get it straight. On Tank Talk with Tyann,
Uh-huh.
I got a $75 gift card for Deacon's Fido
Awesome.
and Pods.
Nice.
But 2 nights earlier, I got 8 jars of EcoPods from the algae barn.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah,
this is just a
yeah.
winning week for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to start doing. Wait, hang on, Cheryl. We need to start having giveaways here too, guys. I'm a slacker, but I'm going to start getting some items in. If you have ideas on things you would like to win on our weekly live stream, let me know, because I thought about this a long time ago, and I just thought, well, I can't give seahorses, and there's not much. I mean, I guess sieves or amphipods and things like that. So just let me know what kind of things you would like to win if we start doing giveaways and sponsored promotions. Hey, Seahorse Quarter. And so Holly, I want to jump to you now, but I'm glad you had a great week, Vincent. Holly, how are you doing? And who's the lovely lady beside you?
Yeah, so I'm having a great week. This is my mom, Sue. And she's here to spend Thanksgiving with me. She flew out with my brother's family from Santa Fe in New Mexico. I got to meet my niece for the first time, who just turned a year old. And I haven't seen my family in about 4 years. And we used to live close because, my mom left when we had the fire here back in 2018. That's why she ended up in Santa Fe with my brother. So it's wonderful to have family. And I wanted to introduce you all because you're family too. And I said, Mom, I want you to meet my seahorse enthusiast family. So she's here to join us tonight for that. So I'm having a great week.
Okay.
Awesome.
Correct.
Well,
Like-
it's so nice to meet you. And I just want to say hi to Mark, Silver, Zen Ginger, everybody in the audience. So glad you could join us. If you missed everybody else's little how was the week, go back and watch it later. But anyhow, Cheryl, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was just saying, your mom's name is Sue.
Yes.
Sue, welcome to our group. You have an amazing daughter who does.
I know. I'm so proud of her.
and we've known each other for quite some time, and she is the epitome of what you want, and basically someone that operates their own business in essence, and manages to somehow keep everything going, no matter what
Yeah.
happens.
We feel very proud of Holly. She's a good
Yes,
girl.
Aw.
she is.
Absolutely. Actually, once we get, and I'm still here, guys. I'm just kind of dealing with one daughter got off at 8, so trying to get them situated. But I am still here, even if you see a black screen, and I'll be right back. But I did want to say too, one of the things that I asked Holly and others to do tonight is bring Seahorse related items to show that maybe that someone gave to you, and we'll talk stories about the community too. But one of the items that I'm going to show, actually 2 of the items I'm going to show are from Holly. So she's a giving, wonderful person, period. And I love all of you. But Holly, you're my favorite. I'm just kidding, guys.
No favorites here.
Of course.
No
Oh.
favorite. Just kidding.
Right.
Anyhow,
Well,
go ahead,
I guess
Vincent.
this is Seahorse related.
Let me see it. Let me make you big. What is it? It's coming in backwards. There we go.
It's a Visa card.
Yeah. It
But
takes
the
It takes what?
all my money.
Oh,
My Seahorses.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's true. Holly, actually, we can just jump right. Well, actually, I didn't even ask you how your week was. How was your week, Holly? Anything new?
Oh, I was telling you, it's been great because family's been here. And yeah, I got to
Yep.
meet my 1-year-old niece for the first
Yep.
time. And yeah, they spent like a 12-hour day to get here because it's 2 flights from Albuquerque to, I'm in Northern California. So they had to fly to LA and then to Sacramento and then drive for 2 hours to get here.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
niece did great. She's awesome. I posted pictures of her with checking out the seahorses on my Facebook. Of
She's
course,
so cute.
Yeah.
of course, they all thought she was there to feed them. So they all came and checked her out. So it was
One of
My
my
favorite-
videos.
My
Hang
favorite
on,
picture was
Okay, go ahead, Cheryl.
hanging on to her dad, and she looked totally exhausted, but somehow she had this big smile on her face, and she
yeah.
looked so happy. It was like she was having the best the thing that ever happened to her.
Yep, absolutely. That's good. I got to go check out those pictures. And I would say too, Holly, I think I've said this before, but my daughter did like a copycat kind of funny video on the YouTube page where she pretends she's me and walks around teaching people about seahorses. It's called the Seahorse Whisperer Junior. You guys go check it out. I'll try to put a link. But she made this video. They made it while I was sick, and they did it all by themselves. I edited it, and that's one of the cool things is when she walks up to the tank, they all think she's gonna feed them, so they come running at her. But I bet she loved them, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Well, she was like, she didn't know what to look at. I'm going to honestly say, I think she was as impressed with the internal filter as she was with the
Oh,
She
well, I'll
didn't
tell you.
doesn't know what she's looking at. Yeah.
Right, and she's young, but I'll tell you, man. And everywhere I go, anyone I talk to, anybody that's seen the channel or just that I meet, that hears that I do seahorses, that I actually keep them and have bred them. I mean, we're a lucky crowd because
Yeah.
people are just amazed, that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have seahorses, and so I love
didn't
this
know they
group
were
that we
real.
share. Yeah, some people don't.
Yeah.
People don't
Or
know they're real.
I still get the question, are they fresh or salt water? Still to this day.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh,
I'm like, what?
Yeah, somebody. Oh, my uncle asked that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because my
It's
aunt
not
and
a dumb
uncle were
question.
here yesterday, and yeah, he's all. So is this fresh water or salt water?
Well,
Well, I just
one of
Go
my
ahead, Cheryl.
in-laws years ago, because every time I'd go to a family gathering, and they were only lived a few miles from me, I would have to take off and go feed frying. And then I would come back. And one day he walked up to me and he gave me this great big hug. And he said, I thought you were always looking for an excuse about having to feed seahorses to be at a family gathering. Because now I realize you raise seahorses.
Sometimes they don't even believe you. Sorry, guys, I got a little cold here, so if you hear me snotting and blowing, I apologize. All right. Well, I know we want to tell stories for sure because this is just a fun. It's still open chat, guys. If there's anybody new who has a question about seahorses, of course we'll take it. That's what we're here for. Or if you have your own story about your seahorses, Seahorse Corner. If you're not busy, jump on in the video. I know you have lots of stories and lots of seahorse stuff. But just to get us rolling, you go ahead and show us the stuff that you brought that people have given you or you've collected.
All right. So,
And I got to grab one more of my
I'm
things.
going to show that at some point, but I know you guys probably have seen me wear this shirt, and it's actually a t-shirt for the band Nirvana, but it's got seahorses, and an old friend of mine from many, many years ago lives in Montana now, and she sent that to me when she knew I was into seahorses. And then I have really cool like things that people have made in artwork. This came actually from one of my aunties.
I saw that
the other day, and it's adorable. Her name is Sail. It's and what that is, it's Polynesian for flowering bush. And so she created, hand sewed this, and I'll share her information. I'll try to share it on a post later so you can private order, these seahorses that she makes. She lives in, I want to say Maryland is where she's located. And my mom's best friend's little sister sent it to me just the other day, just as a gift, just for fun. Another favorite thing, a friend of mine, probably hard to see because of the reflection.
Oh,
but this is actually
beautiful
a
though.
and paste and stencil. And I have a friend that I met on Facebook. I met her through another friend because she's just interested in seahorses, have never kept live seahorses, but she has always done like cut and paste artwork of seahorses. And
Nice.
she lives about 2 hours from me. And while I was running appointments for my insurance business in her area, I made arrangements to go visit her home. And she had beautiful seahorse art everywhere that she's collected through the years and created herself. And she made that special for me.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
The picture
Then
does
I
not
have
do
just-
it justice. That
Yeah,
is
I
Maybe,
if you
maybe post a picture later, Holly. Yeah.
it's better, because the glare. And this is just sometimes just a friend of mine, the
Aw.
one that was staying here after the fire. He had a coloring book, and a seahorse picture was in it, so she colored it for me and gave it to me.
Mm.
When it's cool, I have like an awesome like mermaid photo album that a friend of mine gave me years ago when the seahorses had fry, so I could put seahorse pictures in it.
Oh.
And another friend of mine, more artwork, like a girlfriend of his hand painted that, and it's in a seashell, which I use for I use seashells for dishes for the seahorses. And this was intended as a dish for my seahorses, but it's too pretty to use as a seahorse dish. And plus, because it's sealed with something that's supposed to make it, saltwater proof and everything, but I don't trust any chemical stuff in the seahorse tank, without knowing what it is exactly. so I won't use it as a dish for them, but it's a pretty little thing to have out to just set your little trinkets in. Things
Set
like
it
that.
next
And
to
of
the
course,
tank.
so mugs that people
Yes,
have.
love them.
And then my mom has actually gifted me with a lot of the decorations in my tanks.
Mm-hmm.
The resin coral, the fake decor and stuff. A lot of that
There
has
goes
come
one.
from my mom. She's all, there goes one. She keeps seeing the seahorses swim
find
by.
She loves
Nice,
seahorses
love
too.
it. Yes. Was that it?
Yeah,
What?
she's never.
I don't really know much about him, but when Holly tells me, so this is going to be interesting.
Well, you have a good educator there, ma'am, because Miss Holly is, I consider her an expert at this stage. She's shared so much and helped so many people.
Well, I
Holly, you
know
want me to make you?
you guys, so
Yeah, I
We all
these are the
together.
people I learned from. If it wasn't for you and Cheryl and Ray and Dan and Heather, Heather Seahorse Corner. I mean, I know she's helped me out, sending me, medications sometimes for the seahorses when I needed them, and
Yep.
just the seahorse community of enthusiasts for the seahorses and the saltwater tanks in general. Honestly, I swear, are some of the sweetest, best-hearted people I've met.
Yep. Absolutely.
Hey,
Were you done with your show and tell?
I am. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to quickly do my show and tell. I have to tell you, if you're a friend of mine and you've sent me something seahorse related and I don't mention it, feel free to call me out. You guys know I always run late, so literally I'm blocking my video so I can run around and grab stuff around the house because of course I'm running behind. But since I just saw Coral Vids, hey lady horse Rochash. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it right. I apologize, but hello, welcome to our Friendsgiving. And since Coral Vid's here, I'll start with my t-shirts. First of all, every year at MACNA, we do a seahorse and pipefish event. And recently, Coral Vids, if you would like to post the link in the comment section, that'd be awesome. They came up with shirts for these smaller community-centered gatherings that we do at MACNA. So if you don't know what MACNA is, it's a big conference. It stands for, oh my gosh, Marine Aquarium Conference North America. So, but they were kind enough to allow like-minded communities to do these little get-togethers, like off the side of MACNA, so we can't use their name, but we're attached kind of. So anyhow, we do this every year. We've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years, and they recently started doing shirts and products that are saltwater related, and they're really good, very good quality, really soft. So this is my first shirt to show. Actually, I should probably make myself big here. I'm so big-headed, right? But all right, so this is the Curiously Seahorse and Pipefish. I can't tell if I'm showing it right. All right, that is the shirt that I got from last year. I'm not sure if they've updated the design, but they're really cool. And then everybody wears them to the little get together, and we're showing off our seahorse community, right? So hopefully, if he doesn't put the link in the comments, I will, because it's not just seahorse stuff. It's stuff from the Women in Reefing events. It's stuff from it's like just cool clown. Any of you clown? I know we have a lot of clown
The
people.
convention of saltwater aquarists is what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to go in person someday.
Oh, well, Holly, that's why if I ever win another ticket, I'm gifting it to you, because I'm about to show all the things you've given me too. Anyhow, I will make sure you guys have a link, because I can't even remember the website off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Coral Vids. And Ray said, how come no Siri on the Seahorse? And I agree.
Serious and no Siri.
Well, it's because this first design was, it was, I don't want to say rushed, but it's still cool. It's a cool shirt. You're right. There's no Siri on the Seahorse, but that's because the graphic designer, we were trying to make it simple. Let me show you my next shirt, however. Now, this one was from the Seahorse and Pipefish meetup at MBI. Okay, and it said, and this
Beautiful.
I'll show you
Really
this
pretty.
is Dragons Are Real. And by the way, I did want to mention, definitely promoting the MACNA's associated apparel, but when the Seahorse Whisperer Society site comes up, all of these other shirts that I'm about to show you will be available and more. Okay, so yeah, Ray said Wicked Siri in this one. That's actually a oh my gosh, my brain's melting.
Leafy
It's a
sea dragon.
sea dragon. Thank you. Leafy sea dragon. But Devin from Reef Dudes is actually the one that helped me with this design, so I want to give him a shout out. He does have a similar shirt on his page because I permitted it and we're friends. But this one will be available on mine, and this was from the MBI get together. So, like, if you're into seahorses, guys, definitely pay attention because we have get-togethers at MACNA, at MBI, in different states. I mean, and we hope to do more of that besides Wine Wednesday. But so I wanted you to see the Siri on my seahorse. This is the Seahorse Whisperer logo, Ray. See all that, Siri? And just to let you guys know, in case you didn't, I did that logo myself, and I'll show you a better picture of it in a minute. And those are my actual seahorses. So I used a program, a graphic designer program, that I literally took pictures of my actual seahorses and used the computer knowledge to blot out the colors and such. So those are truly my seahorses wrapped around an S and a W. I'm very proud of it, in case you can't tell. All right, and then I had all of the sponsors and such. These shirts aren't really available anymore, but I just did want to show them because it was such a cool event. And
Nice.
I think it's so great when they let us, bring seahorses into the community. I have like 5 other shirt designs that will be available on my website, but here's just one of them. And I've shown you guys before the Who's Your Daddy Seahorse shirt. I can't find it right now, but I showed it another week, and it's got a male seahorse rolling his eyes with a bunch of babies around him, and the mom is beautiful and gorgeous, and it says, "Who's your daddy?" So, ladies, cool shirt. All right. So I don't want to, I hate being big. I hate taking up all the space. So let me move on really quickly to the things that I've gotten from Miss Holly. This, of course, what do we call it? Fragrant scent, Holly? What's the name
That
of
was
it?
the fragrance oil. Yeah. Yes.
And
when I was
I
making
still
the
have,
fragrance oils.
yes, when she was making and it was from her company, Siren
Yep.
Song. Is it still
Mhm.
active, Holly, or no?
I'm not making those now. Well, because it's pretty labor intensive to do that.
Sure.
And I'm actually in the insurance business, and that takes a lot of my time.
It smells great.
But it was nice when I was raising the fry, to help support their appetites.
Extra
So
money.
yeah,
Well, if she ever brings it back, I'll tell you. This was was it 1 year or 2 years ago?
it's been 2 years, about 1.5, 2 years, because they were a few months along at the time when I made those. And
Well,
everything was slow because of COVID was the
Right.
thing. My seahorses had fry. The insurance business was slow because of COVID. I wasn't I wasn't running as many appointments, so I was able to raise the fry and do some other little things on the side. So that was that
Sure.
time frame.
Well, I will just tell you, what we all need to push her to do it again when she has time, because this was excellent. Not only do I like it, and it lasts longer than like a spray or a spritzer or a mist. This
Mhm.
thing, I mean, it's strong, but then it blends into your skin and it makes you smooth, and then it just smells good all day. I love it, and I gifted a bunch of these for Christmas last year. So if we talk her into it, and you're my friend, maybe get one. In a stocking. All right, next thing from Holly. Go ahead, Holly. Go ahead,
I
Holly.
said we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I like doing it. It might be something I do again, but it's not going to support me like my insurance business does.
I do understand. All right, next gift from Holly. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Can I contact you in terms of my Medicare supplement? I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But anybody out there who needs to, you can. Okay, next gift from Holly. She's just very creative, right? She does such cool things. And the only reason I don't wear this is because I wear it on special. I should have worn it tonight. It matches my shirt. But I only wear it on special occasions because this is my mother's ashes and an engagement present from my significant other. And I wore this with them and they got all tangled and I almost lost my mother's ashes. So I wear this separate now. Yeah, so I wear this separate, but in case you can't see, it's a really cute seahorse. And the cool part about it is, I thought I had pulled one out, I guess not. Comes in a little baggie with different colors, and depending on the color you're wearing that day, you can swap out. Oops, if I can open it. There it is. You can swap out the color. And are these easier to make, Holly, or we not doing that
Well,
anymore?
I don't make those. I have a big supply of them.
So we need to.
Yeah, with the fragrance oil, I'm sure you were getting to that part because you put the fragrance oil on the little pad and you can wear it.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Say it again, Holly, because I did not say that.
Yeah, so it's a felt pad inside of there, the colored felt pads, and you can saturate them with your favorite fragrance. So you're wearing your favorite fragrance all day. Or if you don't like fragrance and you just want the colors, you can switch out the colors felt pads to match your outfit.
And then you're a true seahorse chick and you match.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Holly.
Yeah. And I have those. I still have a bunch of them. You know, if I were to go back into business on that side, yeah, I still have them. It's just that I'm so much busier in my other career that taking orders, mailing stuff, all that is, it's kind of labor intensive for me and not as much a money maker as my business is. So that's why I took longer.
Understood. I'm just still saying yes, I'm just still sharing the wonderful things I've gotten from you, whether present or purchase. And I'm just saying, if any of you really are like, oh my God, I gotta have one of those, contact me or Holly and we'll try to get it done. Let's leave it.
You can message me and we'll figure it out if you really want some.
Absolutely. And then this was a gift from Holly. What was the gift for, Holly? Just to be nice?
That was a Christmas present. I think it was a Christmas present. Yeah, a couple years back.
And I don't drink from it because it's not glass. It's not glass, but it's really cute. And I'm sure Holly could share the designer if you want. But yeah, it was just a lovely gift. And I don't drink from it because the first Seahorse wine glass that was made for me years ago from a friend that was hand painted in glass and gorgeous that I used at the very beginning of Wine Wednesday, I ended up dropping on a Wine Wednesday and I no longer have it. So we don't use this. It's decoration because it's so cute. But you could.
Yep.
All right. Holly giving me other stuff, but like I said, I was grabbing stuff as I could. So real quick, I do want to cover I do want to say, in case Kevin's still here, because Kevin, this is the one I'm waiting to use in the fry tank. Kevin gifted me 2 char chambers. This doesn't look like a seahorse. I realize that, but it's seahorse related. And I'm using one in my 40-gallon all-in-one. And we've talked numerous times over the weeks about what a difference this has made for water quality. And, it's just a wonderful thing. In there is Aquachar, which was also gifted to me by Aquachar. So definitely wanted to throw that out there. If you don't know what a RKC chamber is, say it in the comments because these are one of the things that I now advise people to put into a seahorse tank. So watch, if you want to learn more, just search on this channel. Go ahead, Holly.
I have one as a gift from Andrea because she won one and then gifted it to me because she had just bought a few. And so thank you to her. I'm loving it. I do. I have it in the display tank, and the seahorses like to hang out with it. They like the bubbles, and then it's keeping the water really nice and clear. And great thing.
Holly, you just
Sorry,
went dark for some reason.
now.
That's the light.
The
And I
Seahorse
have
light.
one that I got from you guys.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
Vincent.
yeah.
You won one on Wine
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
see, it's really hard to do this because you forget how many people you should thank. So if I have not thanked you, I still have some stuff to go, but I have not thanked you. Thank you. I do appreciate anything and everything. I just, there's a lot. You guys are all such good friends and such a good community. But yeah, Vincent won an RKC chamber from Wine Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cheryl was gifted one from Kevin. I was gifted two from Kevin. We just love Kevin. And then Holly was gifted one from Andrea. Poor Ray lives in Canada, so we can't gift him one. But these things are great. If you want to learn more about it, search on this channel for the Robert King episode. He talks us through it, and we do talk about it every week too. I don't want to dwell on it, but it's a great product. Also, a gift from Dan Underwood is the Mike F. And we talked about this constantly too. I want to even make myself big again. This is the probiotics and then mine's dirty because it sits on my shelf. Sorry, actually it sits in my refrigerator, but it's a little dirty. Anyways, the inside is not. The inside is great, as you can see. And this was sold by Seahorse Source. It's no longer, but he does have sources for it. And he will talk more about Mike F and probiotics when we do Ask Seahorse Source Part 4. He did talk about it a lot also on Ask Seahorse Source Part 3. So if you want to know about Mike F, search on this channel for Ask Seahorse Source Part 3. Probiotics. All right. Another gift from, actually, I think I bought, no, it was a gift. He gave this to me, and this is dirty too, because I haven't had fry in forever. But a really great sieve. And again, I told you guys it's dirty, but it's these things are amazing because as you see the 125, what is that?
Microns.
Yeah, microns. Thank you, Ray. And basically, they're made at different micron levels so that you can separate baby Artemia, and that's brine shrimp Artemia, larger depending on what you're trying to do. It's good for separating the little net, which again, it's dirty. I said, you guys, sorry. But I would definitely clean the hell out of this before I use it again. But as you can see, it's got little pieces of whatever the heck I sieved last because it doesn't go through because the fine netting. So thank you again, Seahorse Source. He's an amazing friend. All right, now for the weird one. My kids made me a seahorse out of clay, but he lost an ear.
Wait a minute.
He lost an ear.
You gave birth to
What?
that?
I did. I said my kids made this. I did not give birth to this.
Your kids did it, not you.
This is my clay seahorse that lost an ear, but I still keep because he's special to me. Yes. All right. Next, my sister is amazing. And speaking of Wine Wednesday, she makes. She doesn't do it much anymore because she's back at school, but she makes. This is all wine cork. They're all wine corks, right? So she uses the corks from wine glasses to make designs, and she made this one for me, I think, for my birthday. But really cool. She does still do them. It is a business, so not trying to promote people or sell anything. I'm just showing you my cool stuff and my gifts. This I won, and unfortunately, I'm such a bad person. I cannot remember the site. So look at my page later, and I will definitely give a shout out to the company. But this is another artsy kind of thing that I hang on my wall, and it's made of, I don't know. See, it's like little shells, little rocks, but very, very pretty. And I just remembered I have another one. I think was from Chris Carey. I don't know. I have two more things to grab, so I'm gonna have to go grab something in a minute. Also,
this is like Christmas.
I know. Well, these are all my. I'm trying to shout out. This is Friendsgiving. I'm thanking everybody. I can't remember who got me this either. My God, if you're the person that got me this, please call me out. I'm so sorry. Someone sent me this. I broke it. I suck at these things, you guys. But I've shown this before. It's so cute. And I did break it. I need to super glue it. See,
that looks totally glueable.
I know.
That'll glue. Get this.
I can't be trusted with glass. I do see you guys as I'm showing all these gifts. Chris, Carrie, everybody, I see that that you're talking about something important in the comments. We will go to it. Just let me get through my little thank yous to everybody. But isn't that cute? I actually now use it. I don't drink from these Seahorse things because I break them. So this is now used as like a pen holder and stuff, which sounds weird, but it's got pennies in it. I love it, and it's cute, and I love it. So, anyways, let me see. Jewelry. If you guys have never heard of SB Reef lights, I have 2 of their lights. It's they're friends of mine, of course, and they sent me gorgeous. Oh, losing my AirPod. Gorgeous Seahorse jewelry, which of course I can't find. But I wanted to say thank you, guys. Anyways, I know I'm really acing this one, guys. This was a gift also from my daughters. Just a little bracelet, cute. And I do have 2 more things to grab from the wall. But while I do that, I'm done with my show and tell. Before we jump to the conversation in the chat, anybody have anything they want to talk about, like a time that someone in the community helped them and is just thankful for?
Seahorses.
What? Go ahead, Holly.
I'll say
I gotta run and grab
I'm
stuff.
so thankful. I joined you guys like 2 years ago when we're having fry for the first time. And so I remember like right around my first time of joining, Cheryl and Ray really helped me out with what to do. And Dan too. I think Dan was coming on right about them also. But I remember it was Ray that told me use peroxide to clean the freshly hatched brine shrimp before feeding it to the fry. And that was a huge game changer as far as getting them to survive. And the formalin, and I would have never known any of this had I found you guys.
Well, the thing is,
So one thing I'm thankful is the knowledge that you guys have and what you guys figured out over the years with what you did, you know, in raising seahorses has made it so much easier and more doable,
yeah.
you know, for people like me that just came along and years later, what do I do? How do I take care of these creatures? Because I never had any success with seahorses really before until I met all of you.
I love that, Holly. The same is true for all of us. I mean, I think. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Basically, when you're talking with Ray or Dan or I, we have worked together for many years. We've had our failures, we've had our successes, and we've learned a lot from the mistakes we've made and also the good things that came along. And so what you're dealing with are people is not there's more besides just Ray and Dan and myself that have worked with these organisms, these animals, these fish for 15 plus years, and we're constantly changing what we're doing to try to improve what the outcome will be. And
Well, and that's what's so cool, Cheryl, about this is that people like you, Ray, and Dan, who've had all these years of experience, share it with people like Holly and me, and Vincent has his own way. You know, he learned from the ground up doing different organisms, but we all bring different things to the table, so we can all
Yes.
help each other and help the community. It's I love this community. It's so cool. Go ahead, Vincent.
Well, I learned a lot from Ray.
Yeah.
And that was years and years ago, just by reading his advice and stuff. And then there was another guy from Miami area, Spanky, that was on the forums that I learned a lot from. And the forums, actually. But over the years, I've learned more. I got the tub idea from Cheryl.
Yeah.
And, everybody learns from everybody.
Well, the
Mhm.
thing is,
But Ray,
That's why this is so important, is for us, to get together and share.
Ray was probably the guy that I got the most from years ago.
Ray, are you there? He stepped away, so we're gonna have to thank him
Yeah,
again.
thank
Oh,
you.
he's here.
He's back.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Come back. It was
Vincent's-
feeding time.
Oh, okay. No, I was just
No
saying that
worries.
I learned a lot from you
Hmm.
way back in the days of Reef Central and the Reef Tank.
Oh, yeah.
Just want
Yeah, I mean
just want to
that's where I got it. Yeah, and
just
because
want
I
to let
didn't
you
know
know.
Dan or
I'm so
yes,
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, Vincent. You finish. Let Vincent finish. Sorry.
well, I didn't know Dan or anybody at that time, but I did know a lot of fish breeders, and then Ray for the seahorses, and then I just kind of worked everything out over the years.
That's why I say for Dan and Ray, even if you're not currently, I mean, Ray is still keeping a seahorse, but even if you're not currently, in the thick of it, your knowledge is still so welcome on this channel. Absolutely. And Shyla said her seahorse pair was a gift from her brother and best friend. They paid for them as a birthday gift. Love that. Seahorses are a great birthday gift, but we Shyla knew what she was doing, so we need to make sure that people have the things set up before we buy them seahorses for their birthday, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, and
Fair.
Ray, again, I don't want to gloss
And
it
Ray, you
over.
missed it. I was thanking you for
Yes.
everything you did for me when I was starting out with the fry, and how to clean their food with the peroxide, and how to use the formalin, and yeah. So
But
thank
I
you.
learned all this stuff from other people too.
Yeah,
That's the community. It's
I
the
don't,
community.
other than Dan, I don't remember all the names, but most of them were on the, God, now
Seahorse.org,
I can't think of the original Seahorse forum, but then,
seahorse.org.
yeah.
no, before seahorse.org.
Oh,
Signatha something or other.
mm-hmm.
I'm still admin on seahorse.org, although
Yeah.
we don't get the traffic that we used to. But
I
what I
just went on.
keep in mind is what one of my greatest info people was Jorge Gomez Rado, who actually designed the Seahorse Aquarium for the Baltimore, actually designed the Seahorse exhibit for the Baltimore Aquarium, and he has a PhD. And he gave me huge tips, huge amounts of information. And that combined with what Dan gave me and other people, and sometimes we went back
Basis.
and forth. We didn't always agree on everything, but we
Right.
did.
That's how you work it out. That's how you work it out. And speaking of Dan, Chris said most of all, and Chris, it was formerly with Seahorse World and Seahorse Australia, and worked in a public arena where he was breeding and trying different
Right.
experiments, safe, experiments, but doing captive breeding on a large scale. And he got help from Dan. So that's amazing. He
Right.
said, he helped me out when I was struggling to raise reed eye. It was something I was struggling with for ages. And he said, Dan and another person in the Seahorse community helped me overcome that hurdle and have had success with reed eye. So massive shout out to Dan. We all have to thank Dan. I
Yeah.
mean, Dan
I
is the
want to
man.
say this. I was telling my mom earlier about Dan, because the thing that amazes me about Dan is Dan did not have an aquaculture background. He did not have,
No.
saltwater fish. He came into seahorses as an interest and just
Well, his
learned.
sister,
I can
his sister,
figure it
wait,
out.
wait, wait. His sister was doing
Yeah,
seahorses at whatever, but you're absolutely right. He
but
was,
he figured out stuff
yeah,
for her. She
right,
was doing it, but he figured out the ways to, help them survive better, get better survival rates and things. And he wasn't even into aquarium stuff before that,
right.
from
Yeah.
my
I,
Well,
understanding.
no,
He's
you're
just a
right.
really smart guy.
He
He
is.
I'm going to
And
give you an example.
hang on, Cheryl. I'm going to message Dan right now and tell
you
him
should be
that
joining us so we could thank him.
yes, if you're, go ahead, Cheryl, talk.
Okay. Well, a few years back, I got a message from a research institute in Malaysia, and they had brought in several hundred seahorses that were captive bred, and they were losing them like gangbusters, and they didn't know why. They actually sent me an electron microscope picture of the ciliates eating the necrotic tissue on the tails. And I advised them that the problem was basically that the seahorses were stressed, their water quality wasn't good enough, etc. They finally turned around and corrected it. 3 days after they got it corrected and followed my advice with the medications and all, I got a message back. We haven't lost any more seahorses.
That's
Yeah,
why
how
we're
good does that
all
make you
important.
feel that you helped that? And yeah, that's
Well,
really
Holly, I wanted to tell you, Andrea just posted, so thankful for Holly for holding my hand while my babies were sick, and all of you for weighing in and seeing me through 16 days of treatment to get them happy and healthy. She saved her seahorses, and it all started with you. So Cheryl and I mean, and I'm not diminishing anybody. This
well, and
is
Cheryl helped
friend.
me
Wait,
through
hang on. Let me finish. Wait. Let me finish.
Mhm.
This is Friendsgiving, so we're all like trying to give each other praise, and that's what this is about because this community is so special. But that I just want to bring back home that it's everybody from their different experiences. We've got the the Dans that are just brilliant and they're going to succeed at everything and figure things out. We've got the Cheryls that are scientific and worked with birds first. We've got the Rays that spent so many years helping other people and figuring things out for himself and DIYing stuff. We've got the Vincents that is taking a different track but is helping people and sharing his success and knowledge. And then we've got the Me and You's, Holly, and we help people too. Andrea wouldn't have gotten all the help if it wasn't started with you holding her hand. So thank you to Holly.
It can get discouraging sometimes. Sometimes you can walk away from it and feel like a genius, which you're
Right.
not.
Right.
But sometimes you nail it just right. And I mean, that's what happened with the research facility in Malaysia. When he sent me the electron microscopic picture of the ciliates, my brain went, I know exactly what's going on.
See, and we would have no idea as hobbyists, to use formalin on fry, or like Vincent was saying, to use
Yeah.
tubs for fry, or
I'll be
to
honest.
peroxide.
Yeah, I used to I still have formalin,
I do
and
too.
it's been over 5 years since I've added any formalin to a nursery system.
I know,
Because
Cheryl, but don't say that because you're perfect, and the rest of us can't do that. But Holly, you were going to say something about Cheryl. Go ahead.
No, I was just to say Cheryl helped me through treating my seahorses for different things, getting them through, the hospital tanks with, the kind of medications to use. And like if there wasn't something I could get like the Furan 2,
yeah,
couldn't get it at the time I needed it. That was what I used to use in the beginning, and then I couldn't get it. I'm like, okay, well, what else do I use? I have Canaplex and Sulfaplex and Metroplex and all these other plexes. I'm like, what other antibiotics, can I use? And so she helped me figure that out, and I sent her pictures every day, of how the seahorse was doing. We used that topical treatment,
Yep.
Debride.
yeah,
Tried that.
yeah.
That came from Heather, didn't it?
Yeah,
That
Heather
Heather.
sent that to me, and yeah, she had used it, and it was working. The seahorse, that particular seahorse, was just too infected to save. I think he fought hard. I finally made the decision to euthanize him with clove oil, but a lot of this hobby is learning experience, and you have to experience it to learn it,
Right.
Well, yeah.
sometimes, and observation and
Yep.
and
Hang on, Cheryl, because
I'm so
go ahead, Holly. Sorry.
thankful, for like
Yeah.
Ray and Sharon and Dan and Vince, who have been in the hobby for a long time,
Yep.
because I haven't been in salt water. I got into salt water because of the seahorses. I didn't start with reefing or any other salt water. I started with seahorses,
Right.
and different than other saltwater fish. So a lot of the advice you get from saltwater stores
It's not
that
right.
don't know
Yep.
about seahorses, they're giving you the wrong advice times. So I was really thankful that I found experts on seahorses to guide me through that.
Well,
Well, and I just want to say, I'm sure that all of you have forgotten because the one name that hasn't been mentioned yet is Kelly. So screw all of you. I'm ending the stream.
Well, you
I'm
bring
just
it
kidding. I'm
together.
just kidding. That's what I was just going to say, Holly, is that I'm proud that I bring us all together in a way. There are great forums. There's Seahorse Sources group, but I love this community. And I thank all of you. I was really just kidding what I just said. I love you guys. And I'm not as good at helping because I'm so busy with life, but I'm glad that I can bring everybody together to do this. Really quick, I
Well,
want
you
to show my
have
last two things.
excellent videos, though, on your
Yeah,
channel, which I didn't discover till later because you've been doing this for so long. Some of your videos are years ago, but I watched some of them about putting together a seahorse tank, and they're really good. They're really great. They're really informative. And I remember when you had Deborah Corker on with
Yeah.
her sea dragons. That was only a year or so ago, and yeah.
Well, I need to get back back to doing videos because I will tell you the very, very long how to set up a seahorse tank. Please believe Dan helped me with it. he was behind the scenes saying, say this. So some of it comes from him, but I will say it's very long and I need to update it. I need to do a quicker one, but thank you, Holly. That's so sweet. I want to do a really quick shout outs really quick and finish my shout outs. So I'm gonna make myself big, then I'll shut up. I promise. But Chris Carey, if you're still out there, Chris Carey, as I said, thanked Dan because he had help with the re-dye at Seahorse Australia, Seahorse World. But I can't tell you how many times. Look, I'm a night owl, and so I hate bugging Dan, Cheryl, Ray, any of these people in the middle of the night. But Chris Carey is in Australia, so Chris Carey, thank you so much for being my go-to when it's noon for you and it's 3:00 in the morning for me, because you have helped me through so many things. And that's what's so cool is like I consider Chris Carey a friend, right? And I know I hope you're still watching, Chris, because you are my friend and we share stuff that's not even seahorse related now. I just love this community, and I wanted to say your name again and just say thank you for all the times that you dealt with me about seahorse and other related problems, because he's been there for me for lots. I want to show my last two things. Hang on, Cheryl. Hang on, Cheryl. Let me show my last two things real quick because I hate being big. I'm not trying to cut you off, but okay. And I see what you guys are saying in the comments. So this I wanted to show real quick was done by Tom Hornsby in a group that no longer exists. It was called Seahorse Sources. Seahorse. Wait a minute. What was it called? Seahorse Keeping is Fun or something like that. But Tom Hornsby. Yeah, but Tom Hornsby does have a book called So You Want to Keep Seahorses. I will put all these links. I wanted to say real quick, Chris, I did see that you said that nobody's allowed to post links in the YouTube chat. I will, if you have a link that I've asked you to post or that you want to post, message it to me, and I will post them all in the description so everybody never loses them as soon as we're done. But I will post the description to Tom Hornsby's book. He's in the UK. And he did things like this. And I would like to know, guys, if you'd like us to do things like this in the future for our channel, because now that theirs doesn't exist. But it was very cool. And all of these pictures are of the group member seahorses. In fact, I believe my seahorse is in here. It's a calendar. I should have said that. But so there's really amazing seahorse pictures. I'm going to try to find mine really quick. And it says the name of the person whose seahorse it is. And this is from 2017, so pretty old. But I don't know if I could find mine. Let's see. There's Tom's seahorse.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I know, right? Oh my God. And I mean, they're just amazing pictures, right? Very good photography. And Martin Fletcher, everybody knows Martin from the UK. He's amazing too. So I was just I wanted to show this to thank Tom Hornsby. Maybe apparently my seahorses weren't in this episode. I think I just in 2000.
They were in one.
Anyways, my point is I just think this was an excellent idea, and I think they used the raised funds for like something in particular, maybe a charity or something, or helping the ocean or something. So if you guys
had a member.
hang on, Cheryl, hang on, let me finish, please. So if you guys are interested in doing
it's
something
about
like, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
We actually, I forget who it was. He was over in the UK, and a member had lost their seahorses and was really
Hmm.
suffering and really having a lot of financial problems. And we
Yep.
literally, he put the calendar together. We all sent in pictures. And then we sold them. And I bought like 5 of them. And I don't remember who else. And I don't even remember anymore. It's been years ago who set this up. But we turned around and gave the money back to the member that was struggling so hard. And this
Awesome.
was international.
That's really
This was not
amazing.
something.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, Cheryl, because I love stories like that. I just wanted to show my last thing real quick. But yeah, you
Yeah.
guys, I think we should do more of this. I'm willing to organize it if you guys are interested. We just got to come up with a source that we send the funds to, and we can get our beautiful seahorses on the
Yeah.
calendar.
Well,
But last thing I wanted to
all the
show real
funds,
quick. Go
yeah,
ahead,
all the
Cheryl.
funds went to the member that was struggling so hard. They were in the UK, and we literally it was there must have been 100 of us that pulled together to that person.
That's awesome. But I think we could do that, and amazing. I think we could do that
Yeah.
on a continuing basis for different resources like Give Back, right? Or even a
Yes.
newcomer that's having trouble, as Cheryl just pointed out. So get with me, guys. I mean, I would love to do it. I have, because of the website that I've been creating for years, I do have an account and a Printful account, and I can do these things for pretty inexpensive amounts to raise money. So let me know if you guys are interested. Final thing, and again, unfortunately, I cannot remember who gave this to me. I think that it was, I don't want to say, but if you gave this to me, thank you. But this is very cool. How ways to be a seahorse: be unique, go with the flow, hang on to what you want, practice patience, enjoy a new perspective, be loyal, share the load. I love this.
That's
This is
cool.
it. Kitchen. So yes, thank you to whoever gave that to me. I have so many good friends. All right, I'm done with show and tell. And I did want to say, Seahorse Corner, send me your address again. You might just get an arcade chamber gift for Christmas. We'll see. And Santa might be coming. And because I mean, Heather, I did forget to say, Heather is the one that when I was in trouble with a seahorse, which I think it was, I don't even think I was in trouble. I think I was just worried and anticipating pouch emphysema. And in my area, I'm in Indiana. It's a very red state. Our vets are very strict. Our rules are very strict. There was no way in heck I could get Diamox, period. And I probably shouldn't be saying this live, should I? Anyways, Heather, help me out. I appreciate you, Heather. You're awesome and appreciate everything you do for the Seahorse community. So I wanted to shout you out too. I feel like I need to shout everybody out. And there's Chris. Thank you, Chris. Mwah. But okay, guys, I'm going to shut up now. What else do we want to chat about? Who do we want to thank? It's Friendsgiving. Let's chat. I showed all my goodies that I have available. Okay, dead
Everybody-
silence.
There's
Awesome.
all the goodies that I could think of.
I know.
Have more.
Well, and if we get to talking, we're all like, "Oh yeah, I gotta thank him too. Oh yeah, she did that
There's
for me."
so much. Well, and I
Yeah.
remember also Tyann being on here on the show once and sharing
Yes.
the charity that she was fundraising for. It was the water, is it Uganda? Where was
Yes, it was Uganda. I
yeah,
don't remember the name of the
yeah, because
thing.
the aquachar was what they used there to filter water, and they
Yep.
were doing a garden project, for the community, and she was raising funds for that. And I just think, people in this community, from what I've seen, are really have a big heart and are doing things for others on a worldwide basis, and bringing people together, not just over the seahorses, but over all us aquarists. I think are just more
Absolutely.
minded for ecology and helping in
And
general.
Kevin,
I love that.
I do too, and I didn't mean to cut you off. Kevin said it was the Rosemary
Yes,
Child Live
I can
Orphanage.
remember the name of it, and
Yes.
I remember that, and yeah.
I'm so glad though, because Tyann of Tank Talk with Tyann, again, I'll put a
Mhm.
link in the description when we're done. You guys really should check out her channel because she does so many good things. Not only all these giveaways like Vincent won this week, but
Mhm.
she helps, in areas that
Yeah.
people need help, really need help. She's amazing. So
She has a lot of good guests also.
yes,
She
I
does.
know.
And
we
I
need
miss
to get
them
more
all
guests
the
here.
time. I'm always working.
Mhm.
I'm never able to catch a lot of stuff, but I notice it. I just don't watch it all the time.
Well, and she has such an amazing personality. Like any guest is going to be fascinating. I mean, she has
Uh-huh.
amazing guests, but any
Yeah.
guest is going to be fascinating because she's just so peppy and wonderful. I love Tyann. She's
Mhm.
amazing. And happy Thanksgiving to you too. Uh, Ray, you're like Shaw to Thanksgiving, right?
I'm like, what?
You're like Thanksgiving schmanksgiving, right?
Well, they have Canadian
Well, see,
Thanksgiving happened
our-
already.
Oh,
Our Thanksgiving was, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
oh.
I have
Okay, I
a
didn't
friend
know.
here who's Canadian, so yeah, there's the Canadian Thanksgiving too. So I always
You
wish
guys
her
are always way behind us.
Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah, that's
That's
it,
because
right?
we're up here and you're down there.
We'll go with that one, sure. But anyways, we're gonna continue to chat. I'm not cutting us off yet, but I just want to say before anybody else leaves, happy Friendsgiving and happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. And I really do love this community. I'm so thankful to everybody here. Everything, I mean, like everything I know and have done is because of all of you. So thank you. And I just love you all. Just wanted to say that. And anything else, anybody else?
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. There you go. And Ray, how's it feel being a super? I'm stalling
How's it
because
feel
I
being a
invited
what?
Chris Carey to get in. How's it feel to be a superstar? Everybody keeps mentioning you. That your advice helped him so much.
Well,
Just one quick.
Oh my
a
God,
little bit
Dan's here!
ago,
Uh,
we were supposed to
Dan.
have got it right.
Wait,
I'm no
guys.
expert,
Let's
I'm
wait.
just experienced.
Let's not cut off Ray. Ray, speak. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, there was a post there a little while ago and was sort of a thank me type post, but basically it had things right. Never mentioned expert because I'm no expert. I'm just experienced.
Gotcha. And hello, Dan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm still kicking.
You sound tired. I'm sorry I even bugged you.
Dan, what are you kicking?
Everything I can and anybody I can.
You know me too well.
So, real quick, Dan, I just wanted to say that on Friendsgiving tonight, the reason I asked you to pop in is because we couldn't quit mentioning your name. I'll try to post some of the comments again. That I showed your sieve that I got from you. I showed the Mike F. I talked about, and everybody else. I don't want to like go through and repeat the entire stories, but do we all want to thank Dan real quick for just being amazing in the Seahorse community?
I ain't done nothing in a long time.
It doesn't matter. Ray keeps trying to leave Wine Wednesday. He keeps telling me,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm like, you don't understand. Your help is so valuable and valid. And my gosh, Cheryl tells stories about parking lots where people think she's crazy because you're telling her about a species or whatever. And I mean, we would be nowhere without you, for real. I mean, you are the head of the
True
Seahorse
story.
community, and we love you. That was really it. I just pulled you in to embarrass you and say thank you. And Chris said, yay, our praise summoned Dan himself. There we go.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he
I
was
was just
talking about
talking about you, Dan.
he was talking about he was talking about the fact that you helped him with reed-eye, even though he was with a public aquarium. I'm trying to find the comment, but he was with a public aquarium and he could not figure out reed-eye, and you helped him. Do you have any stories for us, Dan? If you're not, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but any stories about anybody who helped you or like that?
Well, probably the single biggest person that helped me was Frank Gangi, who is no longer in the business.
Mhm.
He produced mysids for a living, and um, just some of the basic theory that I had in the very beginning that went against the grain. And he was somebody who I could bounce things off of, who had a very similar mindset as to what should be done and what shouldn't be done. Um,
Mhm.
Not that he did anything specific with the seahorses, but uh, some of the theories I had with how to handle the seahorses, he was very supportive and gave me some tips that further along some of the stuff I was thinking and made a big difference. Abby and I went to him a lot in the very beginning. Um, and, it was when we first started, there was nobody out there willing to help anybody. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody was like, you don't give out the secrets. It's like, what secrets? Nobody's succeeding, you know.
Mhm.
We never felt like it was successful unless we were doing more than 50% survival per batch. We felt like it was a failure. And,
Right.
it just, he was a tremendous amount of help.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And then
awesome.
Was pretty
the,
amazing.
the other resource that was really helpful at the time was seahorse.org.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the org was so different than it is on Facebook and the current media platforms, in that, you had, think of it like conversations that you could go back to that were in organized fashion. You could go back and look things up.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the whole group on there was, supportive to each other. Everybody was trying to figure different things out. And, when I first started, it was all primarily it was wild caught seahorses. And, Ocean Rider was the only captive bred source really. And then we started seeing some imports, and um, the quality wasn't really real high in the very beginning. And, people thought that seahorses would only live for a couple of years or 5 years max. And, most of those things that people thought were facts about seahorses, we've disproven and shown that things can be done much better and with much longer longevity, if you will.
It was
Well,
just
and you're a
interesting.
big part of that, Dan. I mean, your
Mhm.
input to the hobby has helped us all succeed. I mean, we wouldn't be succeeding with seahorses if not only had
Mhm.
you not figured all this out, but also shared it. And that's I asked when I showed you guys the shirt from MBI, I asked Dan at MBI, why do you share all this information? If you're selling seahorses, why are you helping new breeders? Why are you helping hobbyists? And I can't even remember your exact answer, so I'm not quoting you, but it was just like you had to learn from somewhere, you share it, and
Mhm.
frankly, breeding seahorses is such work and so much. Go ahead.
Well,
Mhm.
it's interesting because, you know, the first article that I wrote, which was a rather primitive article, and I did things much different than what I wrote in that article in the end. But I caught a lot of flack out of the aquaculture community for writing it. And
Mhm.
they were all pissed off that I was giving away all the secrets and everybody was going to be doing it. And that's not the case. Seahorses are a lot different than breeding other animals. And there's a lot of attention to detail and a lot of work involved that if you don't, put in the time, the effort, and pay attention to the details, your chances of success are very small. And the way I saw it, most people weren't going to be willing to do that. And the other thing is that the majority of the customer base that I was getting, once we opened up Seahorse Source, was new people. And back then, people, when if somebody succeeded in breeding a seahorse, and had any success at all, that it was almost like you had to fill out a questionnaire and it had to be experienced in order to buy seahorses.
I
And
remember that.
and I took
I
a different
remember.
attitude towards that. And I also found that when I help people, they bought more seahorses.
Yep.
And it
Mhm.
people would contact me for information, and I would give it to them. They would buy, and it helped my business along. And
Well, oh, sorry.
I never saw it as being a thing. Of all the people that I have talked to and helped, only one person that I can sit here and say has really truly succeeded commercially. And there's
Mhm.
been at least a half a dozen that I offered help, and they just couldn't pull it off.
Well, I want to say I remember, and I see Ray, you have a story. I'll shut up after this, but I remember being one of those witchy, we'll say witchy live customers when I first went to buy seahorses from Dan, and I went to place an order online. And I placed the order and I was like, where do I put my credit card? And then it said, we'll call you. And I'm like, what? I don't want to talk to these people. What the hell? I just want the seahorses. And he called and he was
Mhm.
like, I think actually it was Abby that called, but she was like,
Mhm.
so what's your tank size? What have you had? What have you cycled
Yep.
the tank? How did you cycle the tank? And I'm like, why are you asking me these questions, lady? And then I realized later, of course, oh my God, it's because they care. And it's because they want to make sure that we're set up properly to keep the seahorses. And then I ended up keeping 5 different species from Dan. Well, maybe not 4 or 5. And it just everything you said is right. Giving is getting. Ray, go ahead with your story.
Well, just to let you know the true Dan, and he was mentioning his thinking there, and he was saying that he helps people out and they'll buy seahorses from him. Well, very early on, when we both started basically about the same time, but Dan got into it a lot deeper than I did. And with my cognitive impairment problem now, I don't remember exactly what the circumstances were, but there was a day when Dan called me long distance up here in Canada from down in Florida on his dime. And we talked a hell of a long time on the phone. I don't even remember now what it was, but it just so impressed me. Here's a fellow helps me out on forums or wherever we have any conversation. But in addition, he made this phone call at his expense,
Yeah.
and he had no chance of selling me seahorses because I live in Canada and he wasn't shipping to Canada.
Well, I'm going to give you another example. First time I called Dan, I'd already been keeping
Dan, you
seahorses
have
and
to
already.
sit here and hear us talk you up. Sorry. Go ahead,
Okay.
Cheryl.
Well, and then I'd already actually been able to raise some, and the first words out of Dan's mouth were basically, "Until you get your shit together, I'm not selling any of my seahorses."
Oh, my goodness.
It was pretty much that blunt. But the thing is, what it basically made me do is that's when I joined Seahorse.org, which I've been
Yeah.
with for many years, and have been admin now for many years. And it also made me rethink what I was doing. And I also, during that time frame, was able to get some seahorses from Toronto,
Yep.
Gomez, Toronto, what's this? Yeah. Anyway, and he designed the Baltimore Aquarium, and he sent me some really huge erectus.
Yeah, Cheryl, I gotta say real quick, you didn't thank whoever did the seahorse coming out your head. Because your background, you have a
Well, the
seahorse
thing
coming
is,
out.
and
Sorry, go
and
ahead.
Dan and I ultimately, basically, I finally got voted into being part of the propagation for, format on Seahorse.org, and that's when Dan
That was
and
when
I
I
really started
first
working together.
started learning really how to take care of the seahorses the right way with seahorse.org. And that I want to say like 2007, 2008 when I first found that group.
Well,
And
and it's
that was
I'm sorry,
Well,
Holly, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say it's still a valuable resource. Like if I'm looking for whatever, the library still has good documentation. They have updated it somewhat. Cheryl's still an admin. But I do want to shout out too. Dan said Facebook isn't as good because you've got so many people piling on. But in Seahorse Sources group, which I will post a link in the description when we're done, in Seahorse Sources group, Dan, when he's not overwhelmed by life, Cheryl, I, and others are, there to, give the answers that you need. So if you can't come to Wine Wednesday, definitely go to Seahorse Sources group. And Chris just joined us. This really is Friendsgiving. Hi, Chris. What up?
How's it going,
How
guys?
you doing?
Not too much.
What did I miss?
Thought I better join.
Thank you. What did I miss in the comment section? I know you guys were talking. I was trying to keep up.
There you are.
Not too much, just chatting.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
just
what's
chatting.
up with you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, not too much to report at the moment, but yeah, things are going good.
Well, we're hoping you have stuff to report soon. Wink, wink. But anyways, all right, guys, take it over. I've been talking too much. What else do we want to talk about on Friendsgiving? Dan, what would you say were the crucial things that you have learned throughout time that have helped people the most? I know, put you right on the spot, like, oh my God, right? Just trying to think of what we can share.
How many hours have you got?
Right.
Well,
right.
the biggest thing that I caught on early was two things really. One was the necessity for clean live food, and second was the role organics play in keeping seahorses in recirculating systems. And both of those, as we got better and better, our success rates went higher and higher. It's kind of funny because early on I suspected a couple of quick stories. The first one was my sister told me that one of our batches of Cuda, we had them floating up on the top, and she was trying to tell me that the people were telling her that it was because they snick air. Well, I said, well, that's an easy fix. So I built a system where they couldn't go to the surface.
Yeah.
And so I had all this netting. So once the seahorse delivered the birth, they couldn't get up there. There was no way for them to snick air. And instead, they are all plastered to the bottom of the screen with, air pockets in their gut. And it was like, what? Right then and there, it told me snicking air wasn't a problem.
Not the problem.
And even to this day, you argue with people over that issue. But my suspicion then was it was in the live feeds. And, that was when we were feeding rotifers at the time. And I started doing some reading, and I found out that, there was such a thing as bacteria in live feeds. And, I somewhere along the line, I made a comment about it and got into a tiff with somebody about it. And they worked in a lab. So what they did was they set up a hatching cone, and they hatched a thing of Artemia and then tested for bacteria. And the counts were extremely low. And I didn't have an immediate answer for it right then. But later on, when I got a call from one of the large aquaculture facilities down here that was having a problem with Artemia, my question was how they were cleaning their equipment. And what happens is you hatch one batch of Artemia, your equipment is all clean and new. It's not all being reused, and not all dirty. And what happens is people scrub the equipment with, scour pads and whatnot, put fine micro scratches in it. They don't clean it with soap and water. They, try to, clean it with other things. And what ends up happening is you end up with bacteria building up on all the equipment over a course of time, unless you really take extra precautions and really clean it well. And those two things were probably there's a bunch of other things that branch off those, such as the protein skimmers and things like that. Back when I started, everybody thought protein skimmers caused gas bubble disease. And,
Yep.
it goes back to the organics once again, but those two things were the two biggest things.
Well, we're gonna get Dr. Tim in here and you and Ray and others to discuss the bacteria thing and whether an organics thing. But Chris, what was your story about Dan helping you with reed-eye?
Way back in the day, I was really struggling with red eye, and I was really struggling to sort of get them through in those really early stages. That's when I came across you, the Seahorse Whisperer, and came across Dan, and from our chats and that, I was able to work out the problems and overcome. So massive shout out to you, Dan. Thanks so much for all your help.
Was
Anytime,
it mainly organics, or are you not allowed to share? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like what was the outcome?
It was mostly to do with the live foods, and
Gotcha.
and not only that, just the cleaning process, and keeping all the tanks nice and sterile early on, and giving the Seahorse fry the best chance at survival. Doing everything to maximize the amount of fry we're getting through.
Absolutely. And Dan, again, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Shiloh wants to know, when is Seahorse Source Part 4? I know you want me to send you the extra questions, but do you maybe later, I'm not going to ask you right now, but maybe later look at your Wednesdays and I can send you the questions and we can get that going, because we want to talk Artemia and such. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? It's open
The thing
chat
is,
now.
if they log into seahorse.org, there is very clear information in there on how to basically clean up Artemia and other food sources. It is there, it is available, and it's just up to somebody if they will log in.
You know what though?
And
I
Serious?
still have used that. Before I met you guys for Wine Wednesday, because I had used Seahorse.org years ago. That's where I found the information for starting my most recent tanks, which are like 5 years old now. But when a lot of it still applies, like the tank mates, I love the tank mate list on there where you list like 0 through 4, I think, as far as your risk tolerance for tank mates for the Seahorses. I went by that. I used a lot of the directions from that.
yeah,
And Seahorse.org was great. I have to also say Alyssa Gabriel from Alyssa's Seahorse Savvy. She really helped me with a lot of stuff too, especially with the shipping. I talked with her on Messenger about how to ship, and she was very helpful to me also, when I had fry that I needed to rehome, and was I live in the boonies, like I said, so that nobody's buying seahorses out here, and I had to ship them, and she really gave me great advice on shipping, and helped me through some of my stuff. And
you did an excellent job shipping to me. I can say that for sure.
she is very
Thank
sweet.
you. Thank
Vincent
you.
raised his finger. Go ahead,
she's
Vincent.
No, I was just going to say, and I feel more confident now about shipping since Dan, I can't remember, a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was it only last week?
I think it was a couple weeks
We
ago.
talked
But
about
anyways,
When was
They-
the hurricane?
they fly by. When was the hurricane, Dan?
Oh, that's been a couple of weeks.
Oh, a couple. Man, it seems like a week maybe, but okay.
They fly by, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
The older you
time's
get, the faster
flying.
time goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But,
hopefully.
Yeah, but Alyssa told me about shipping hubs, how you have to, know where your your stuff's going to route through where you're from where you live on the way to the destinations, and
Yep.
plan for that, and how much heat or iced pack to use and all that. No, she helped me out a lot with the shipping.
Well, and I did. I got help from Dan on shipping, and he taught me so many different things, like how to get the air in the bag, how to twist it, double bag it, all this
Yeah.
other stuff. His containers were so perfect; I could never duplicate that. But I mean, I could not have shipped a Seahorse without Dan. So I'm right there with you, Vincent. And
Dan
Alyssa's
taught
great
me
too.
about the castration tool.
The castration. Dan's good for castration. Awesome.
Dan, what are you doing to your seahorses?
What's that?
What are you doing to your seahorses? A castration tool?
I said Dan taught me about the castration tool.
I know you better. I know you better than that.
No,
Well,
we use it for bagging. The castration tool is designed for spraying those rubber bands that they use for castrating.
Yeah,
But they-
I'm familiar with that.
But
My
happens
ex,
to works great for packaging.
yeah,
Yeah, it does.
my ex was a veterinarian, and I went through all of that. Yes, and it does work very well on bulls.
Must work on seahorses because I've never seen a seahorse with any.
Yeah, we don't ship them with it.
Well, I want to real quick too, Chris, I know you were in the comments, but I did want to say just publicly, thank you. One of the things I love about the Seahorse community is that, you know, as you get to know people and you learn about seahorses and everybody shares information, we become friends. I consider everybody in this chat, everybody watching, a friend. And I mean, again, Chris, you saw probably my comment, but you're the one that I can bug in the middle of the night because you're in Australia. So I love you. I hope that you're still doing your work with shrimp. I hope you're still working with signathids because you did such an amazing job at your job. And just shout out to you. Cheers. Happy Friendsgiving, because love you much and appreciate you. He's literally talked me through stuff that has to do with my daughters, not my seahorses. So it's just an amazing community, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad you jumped in so I could tell you publicly.
Can I have one more moment before you boot my you know what out of
We're not
here?
booting you, but go ahead, Cheryl.
Well, think about it. Don't we need to investigate the men that need to have rubber bands? So
No, Cheryl, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah.
I'm cutting you off. We're done with that conversation. No more castration tool.
sorry, it
no.
just made me laugh.
I know, it's fine. But
I'm hiding.
anyways, what do you say?
I'm hiding from Cheryl.
Okay,
You're hiding
Cheryl,
from
got it.
me.
Oh my God, Holly, here, Charlie, let me make you big real quick. Show the castration tool. Show it.
It's for
That is
rubber
scary.
banding fish
Oh,
bags.
those would work really well.
Anyhow, all right. Well, I mean, anybody can talk about anything at this point. I think we've thanked as many people as we can and shared. Any other things you want to share about seahorses or questions you have in the comments, feel free. Otherwise, what are your guys' plans this week? Dan, what are you doing? If
Well,
you
I
care
got-
to share.
2 grandkids that have a birthday tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding?
Well, Thanksgiving birthdays.
Whew.
Yep.
No
That's
matter
rough.
what, take care of yourself. Take care of your
And
kids.
Friday is a quote unquote family reunion if everybody's not fighting.
Right?
Let me know if you need anything.
Of course. And I was just going to say, my sister is much younger than me. Surprise, not accident, surprise. She was, but she was born literally like very close to when my son was born, many years apart, of course, but they always had to share birthdays. Do they hate sharing the Thanksgiving birthday?
Well, one's 1 and one is 6.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
was going to say
there
no
we go.
older than grandkids. Yeah.
They're brother and sister, so it's both of them the same day, you know.
Wow.
Now that's called coordination.
Talk about a coincidence. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they don't grow to resent it because my
Well,
sister
you
sure
know,
does.
this time last year, I was having to watch uh, three of she that my daughter has four. The three of them I had to watch, and one of them was two, and he's the one I renamed Muhammad.
Mm, gotcha.
But I had 3 days of watching them by myself, and that was an
Oh wow,
undertaking.
I bet.
So
I
now
miss
you
them
guys
when they're
know
small.
sorry, Ray, go ahead.
I miss them when they're small.
Right.
Yeah,
My
they're a lot of
youngest
fun when they're
is
little.
22.
Yeah, I think that's the most fun when, like my granddaughter this week,
Yeah,
5 years old. I mean,
yeah,
she's learning how to play chess. We're playing, you know,
yeah.
and she's picking up on the moves and stuff. And it's 5 years old, but I have to
I
play
love
every
it
game
about
in the
that
house.
age. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show you that the women are women, men are men is not true. Look at all these wonderful men talking about loving their grandkids. I'm gonna tell you my opinion is I love them until they're 1. Then I don't want to see them again until they're at least 17. Because once they can talk and run away, I'm done. But and it's funny because it's the exact opposite with seahorses, right? You know, the babies are hard as hell, but then
Yeah,
Well, the
anyways.
Oh
good thing
no!
about grandkids, you send them home afterwards.
But
Right,
when
that's true. That's
but
true.
when they're
yeah,
around 2 years old, all that personality comes out,
True.
and that's what I
Right.
love is watching the personality. It's
yeah.
how smart they are. You know, I don't
And
think I was this smart.
and I am kidding. One of my daughters are literally I can't believe what they're doing in high school these days. My daughter is like trying to decide between taking courses in EMT or taking courses in criminal justice in high school. I mean that's
Mhm,
hats off that they're trying to do better and do different in high school because I
mhm,
didn't have those options. But Chris,
mhm.
you don't even
Go for criminal
sorry.
justice.
Yeah,
I
that's what
did
I
too. I did too.
Mhm.
Chris, Australia doesn't have any Thanksgiving, right? Did I lose you? Oh, okay. Sorry. He's having mic problems.
Uh-oh.
When you figure it out, I was just gonna ask what you're doing this week. Happy Thanksgiving, Kevin. Happy Thanksgiving, anyone who has to go. We're just gonna chat for a few more minutes and then cut it off. But sorry, Chris. Didn't mean to put you on the spot too. But anyways, again, guys, just love the community. Thank you so much for being
Mhm.
here, being with us. Um, Cheryl or Holly, you never told your story about Dan, did you? Or did we already do that? Sorry, blind.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was talking about Dan, but he wasn't here yet.
Well,
So
tell
you'll
him
have to
again,
go
real
back to
quick.
that later. So I no, I had been saying earlier, I said the thing that always really impressed me about you, Dan, is that you did not have a background in aquaculture.
Yeah.
When you came into seahorses, you were able to figure out things because you're really smart, and things that aquaculturists hadn't maybe thought of, you were able to
What?
figure out.
Why was that, Dan?
Well, I don't know if I'm so smart, but
I think so, obviously.
in a previous
You figure
business,
stuff out. You're just really smart, I think,
in a
in
previous
general.
business, there was five of us that succeeded at something that everybody told us was impossible, and
Mhm,
we were not involved in that business. We were all from a different background, but
mhm.
we put our heads to what was to be done, and we weren't confined by preconceived notions, if you will.
Mm.
Yes.
The funny thing is when I started, I sold my house in New England, got on a sailboat, and sailed to Florida with the intent of starting a seahorse business, and I'd never ever, you know,
Freaking
had
insane.
didn't have a
Yeah,
saltwater tank, and
exactly.
but it was based on what my sister had told me, and we got
Mhm,
down here, and for 2 weeks, my wife and I would drop my daughter off at school. We'd get in the
mhm.
dinghy and we'd head out to the lagoon and we would hunt for seahorses. and took us 2 weeks to find the first one. And that day we actually found two. It was a juvenile erectus, about 2 inches in size, and a dwarf. So I bring them back to the house where I'm staying with my sister, and I showed her, and she goes, "Cool." I said, "Now what do I do?" She goes, "You got this, set up a tank." And I said, "Okay, how do I do that? Do I just take one of these tanks, fill it full of water?" And she goes, "Well, you got to cycle it, dummy." And I'm
Right.
thinking,
Yeah.
and here I'm thinking, cycle it. Now you got to remember, we're a family that grew up on bikes, motorcycles, and
Yes.
when she says cycle it, I'm trying to think, what kind of trick is she trying to pull on me? How do you cycle a
Love
tank?
it.
And I had no clue what the biological cycle was, and she had to explain it to me. And that was literally how green I was starting. And when we first came up with the concept of starting the business, the original intent was not for me to be involved with seahorses hands on. My job was to be involved in sales, and things just kind of changed and morphed.
Well, but what's
Well,
so
you're
cool
good
about
at
your
figuring
story?
stuff out, though. I think you're just good
He's
in
not
things
sharing. So
in
wait, Holly
general, right?
and
At
Holly.
figuring
What
out
I
a
what I
puzzle.
really should have done was I really should have gone to. I had I turned down a full ride through med school,
Mm,
Mhm.
and I was very good as a paramedic. And I'm not trying to brag, but I was very good as a
Mhm.
paramedic. But
Mhm.
my problem is that I suffer from, I don't know if it's attention deficit or what, but if it's something I have an interest in, I can I can learn it and I can study it and I can get
Mhm.
it. But if it's something I don't have an interest,
right.
I cannot
Yeah.
focus on it to save my life.
Yeah.
I'm always got
Gotcha.
2 or 3 different things going through my head at one time, and the
Mhm.
other things overtake it. I can't study something I don't have an interest in.
But we
Mhm.
thank God that you did choose the path that you chose,
Yeah.
and that we got to learn from you with seahorses because you took all. I mean, and he
Yeah.
was a private eye too, guys. But anyways, he took his previous experience in his ADD, whatever, and put it into seahorses, and now we're able to keep captive bred seahorses. I mean, I
Well, and
attribute all of
figured
it to
out
him.
a lot of stuff for the rest of us, but I think it's because of that, how you are different in that respect is that you're able to
To
process
pick up. Yeah.
information and pick up on stuff that other people don't, and you're
Yep.
not narrowing your point of view and perspective to what you're told. You're looking at it from what you see from your own observations and experience, and I think that's very valuable.
And it's funny too because Shyla just said she's just like Dan. She can only
Mhm.
focus if she is interested.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
most
that
of us
way too.
seahorse community, most of us are like that. And
Hmm.
we're thankful for
Hmm.
the people like Cheryl, Dan, and Ray who have and Chris and Vincent who have done the work so that we can keep them easily.
Hmm.
Well, I haven't
Hey,
done the amount of work that you guys have done, but
you're doing it now.
I'm very focused. I'm the same way though. I
Hmm.
can, if I want to learn something, I'm going to pick up on it and I'm
Hmm.
going to go 100% and dedicate myself to it.
Hmm.
If if I'm not interested, it's just going to go off to the
Yeah.
side. And
Hmm.
I mean, my family laughs at me because I've had a lot of jobs throughout my life,
Hmm.
and you can go through the alphabet, you
Yep.
know. And once I accomplish something, a lot of times I'll move on to something else. But
Well, I wasn't laughing at you at all, Vincent. I was laughing at Ray, who said, "I'm at
no,
the point now
it's all
where I
right.
can't focus on anything anymore. Getting old is just such a peach." Um, and I would say what's funny is I'm definitely ADD, but I'm not as smart as Dan. He can say it's not smarts,
Hmm.
but I'm not as smart, and I'm a procrastinator, right? So I had somebody tell me I was a hidden perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. I don't think it will be, so I sabotage everything. You
Hmm.
guys know I'm late every week, right? But anyways,
I
um,
I don't know
go ahead.
about I can't say that I'm that smart. I mean, Saturday I went and watched locally. We had the amateurs and the pros with MMA cage fights, and first time I'd been to one, and I went and watched it. And as soon as after I left there, the first question I had in my mind I had to go look up was what's the age limit, and the second one, what's the oldest fighters? And I had stupid thoughts going through my head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say, getting older, everything gets a little bit more difficult to do.
Mm.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
working on the tanks and stuff like that. It takes me a lot longer now than it used to.
I don't know how
But
you guys do it. I swear, I'm like, I couldn't do this at you guys. It's so much physical labor for me now. I'm like, this is a lot to
but that's
do
why
in
but that's
my
why we're so
50s.
that's why we're so thankful for all the years you did put in and all the knowledge you still share, right? And Shyla said, Ray, I always refer to your comments on Facebook on all the posts, and it has helped me a lot. So even like
Yeah.
Dan was saying, Facebook sucks because it's not as easy to go back and look at comments. Man,
Mhm.
take a screenshot, right, of Ray or Dan or Cheryl's comments, or Vincent or Chris or Holly. I'm
I
just
do
saying,
that.
take us.
Always
I
find.
have documents. You guys, I really am working on this website. I've worked with Dan and I've got all these documents set up. I'm going to try to get it posted, I swear. Seahorse.org is still a great resource, and Seahorse Sources Group is still a great resource. But until I get that done, go there for sure. And Seahorse Corner said, that's why some people who never had saltwater tanks do great with seahorses. They don't have preconceived notions about what a saltwater tank should be. Absolutely. And she
True.
said reefers have to unlearn some things for seahorse tanks usually. That's my biggest problem, is dealing with someone who says, I want to keep seahorses. I've kept all these saltwater tanks. I'm a coral
Mhm.
enthusiast. I do all this. And then it's like,
It's not
right,
the same.
but it's not the same. It's not harder, it's just different, right? And Chris, I think you got your microphone working. Do you have any, first of all, what are you doing this week? Because I don't think you celebrate Thanksgiving. And what's up with, what do you have? What do you want to say? Put you on the spot. Oh, we still can't hear you. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Uh,
I'm
Oops.
sorry. Okay, try to fix it. I wanted to give Chris a chance to talk before we cut it off. And I appreciate Dan you joining because I know how busy you are. I didn't know if he had any questions for you. Go ahead, Dan.
With what you were saying, or what um, Seahorse Corner was saying, is very true about people with seahorses. And it took me a while to get people to understand it, but what I had to explain to many of my customers was that, and many of the people who had preconceived ideas, is that seahorses aren't harder, they're different.
Yes,
And if you account for those differences, they're not difficult at all.
exactly. That's
yeah.
why it was, sometimes we get to talking on this channel and like, Cheryl and love you, Ray, but Ray will start talking about, oh, this, that, and the other, and it's so different, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, wait, time out, time out. If you're just a hobbyist and you're not talking about fry, then it can be so easy. You just have to know the rules. Go
That's
to
another
Dan's
thing I'll
document.
say.
Go
Dan
ahead.
is great at making it easy to understand what to do.
Yes.
He's translated for me many times the for the volume of my peroxide into the milliliters I have to use for my tank, because I don't do that kind of math very well. I'm
He's
like,
on my speed
how
dial,
many,
Holly.
yeah, how many milliliters does that mean for how many brine
Yes.
shrimp I'm
Was
putting in this much water? That kind of thing. I need it translated from scientific to the layman's terms.
yes,
Right?
some people are better at explaining things, because I find it real hard when someone messaged me and asked me the steps I take all the way through, and it
Mhm.
takes me forever to explain things.
Yeah.
And I always go in circles, trying not to miss anything. And someone like Dan or a lot of other people, they can just write it down and it comes out perfect. I don't, cognitively, I guess I just can't do it.
Well, I think we all think different. There's nothing wrong with you, Vincent. I'm the same way.
Mhm.
Like if someone asks me, that's why
Yeah.
a lot of times, guys, if you ask me for help, I'll be like, here's Dan's email or
Well,
here's Cheryl's email because I spin and say, oh, wait, you got to remember this. And he knows how to
Simple.
put it in order.
Condense
you know,
Translated.
I've had the advantage though of at a very young age actually, but I taught for several years in EMS.
Right.
I had to get in front of firemen, I had to get in front of paramedics, I had to get in front of nurses, I had to get in front of doctors, and then in the world of sales, being a salesperson, and again, not in just one class of people, but one day I'd be talking to a plumber, next day I'd be talking to an attorney, and
Right.
when you learn how to communicate at a different level when you have to, when your livelihood depends upon it, and
Mhm.
when you're teaching people that have to pass the class for their livelihood, you've got to come up with a way to get it done, and
Well,
that's been immeasurably helpful for me, in many different ways, but especially with communicating with people and how to do something.
Well, that's just why I keep telling Ray
Mhm.
and you and Chris that even if you're not currently doing things with seahorses, we still need you when you have time because your knowledge is invaluable and you know how to share the information correctly. So don't ever leave us. Don't ever leave us. All right. That was it. Chris, can you talk
Well,
yet?
you
Oh,
almost
sorry.
lost me tonight
Oh, why?
because I went to Walmart and I thought I was going to have to check myself into a mental institution afterwards.
Oh, no. Dan, call me. I'll come all the way to Florida and rescue you. No. Chris, can you talk yet?
No.
Oh. All right. Well, we're gonna bug Chris to come back next week because I don't know what's going on with his audio. But the cold is taking me over, guys. I'm so sorry. I could sit here and do this all night with you. I love you all. And, Friendsgiving, happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates. But does anyone else have anything they need to talk about or want to share? Okay.
No,
I
I'm
am
good.
gonna I'm gonna close it for tonight just because seriously, the sinuses, but thank you so much to everyone who comes to this channel, everyone who's part of the Seahorse community. Really appreciate all of you. And if I didn't thank you tonight, call me out because I'll thank you publicly because I love you, all of you, and happy Friendsgiving. Everybody say cheers. We're gonna end.
Cheers.